Hi there, Jake from Wellness, and I'm going to take you through the main components of this rejuvenation portal. Let's do a little overview so that you understand what you're getting in for here. Now there's four primary areas that we're targeting with this, and that are fundamentally related to the health and well-being of the body. The first is the physical body. Evidently we all have a physical body. The second is the emotional body. We can all relate to this. The third, the mental body. And the fourth, the subtle energy body. This one's a little more intangible. Alright, so in relation to the physical body, this is a very important area to get right, of course. It's the primary motivation that drives people to go to the gym. But one of the problems with people going to the gym and the mindset associated with that is it's often let's pump weights, let's do strength training, let's get fit, let's go hardcore, let's go intensely, and that sort of thing. Now that's very important, of course, if you're wanting to lose weight and you're wanting to tone up. That's a valuable way to train. Nevertheless, if you're training with intensity, if you're training with a lot of contraction and external resistance, what happens is that when you're contracting a muscle, it's becoming shorter, isn't it? And over a period of time, shortening, something that's getting shorter is also becoming tighter. So one of the primary things that we really need to do to regenerate this system, to enhance physiological function, tissue repair, regeneration, which of course leads to the rejuvenation of the system, is to restore the body's ability to move through a functional range of motion without feeling tight. So of course that involves a fair amount of stretching. We need to tighten up the nuts and bolts of the body, the internal muscles that stabilize the joint structure so that the body can move efficiently. We need to enhance the posture so that the bones are aligned correctly and they move smoothly in their sockets. All of these things need to be done if you want to have an efficient system that is not overly tight and through which your blood system can flow, your nerves can reach the various cellular tissues, and those physiological functions can thereby be enhanced. So in the portal we have delivered a simple workout that you can do to achieve just that. It's really focused on restoring the internal structural strength of the body, opening up tension so that your physiology begins to function more effectively. Needless to say, you're going to be a lot more comfortable as a result of that. Now, point number 2, the emotional body. This is actually a critical component to not only regeneration, rejuvenation and well-being, but for reversing disease within the body. There's a high correlation with an unhealthy emotional body and disease within the body. And of course, a lot of people can relate to either themselves or knowing someone who really suppresses their emotion, that is unemotional, does not want to acknowledge that they have feelings. And you'll notice over time that this person actually builds up a lot of problems in their lives, be it mood-wise or dietary-wise. Of course, the mood impacts our dietary choices significantly, which impacts the composition of the body, how much body fat we carry. For example, whether our mood is up and down impacts our relationships, our ability to focus on work, to get things done effectively, to be consistent in our lives. So these are all correlated with the quality or the health of our emotional body. And when we move through our life, there's invariably going to be things that are upsetting to us. This is not something that we can remove from our life. Life's always going to bring us difficult circumstances, stressful circumstances, situations and happenings that we don't really want to go through. Nevertheless, we have to go through them, don't we? What is important is that you can process that as it is integrated into your body, and moreover, if it's traumatic to you, that you can find a way to remove it from your system. So we actually have 2 different techniques that we're giving you inside the portal to clear the slate, so to speak, to remove the disturbance within the emotional body so that you can stop suffering, so that you can stop feeling burdened and overwhelmed, and so that you can rise into a place of consistent happiness and enjoyment, indeed light-heartedness in your life. That is the way we want to walk through the world, with a light heart, with a joyful heart, with a positive mindset, right? Now, third is the mental body. This is a tricky one because, of course, we have various different belief systems. We live in a multicultural society from various different traditions, and so it's not going to be realistic to just agree with everybody. This connects into, to a degree, the conflict in our lives, but nevertheless, we want to develop the skill to be able to manage, to navigate our environment and particularly our response to the environment very skillfully in relation to our rational or our mental response. So there is also a technique within the portal too, in fact, so that you can manage the way that you are utilizing your mind, the way that you perceive things and the way that you respond to things, so that you can become more flexible, less rigid in your mindset, and thereby be able to handle the situation that's arising in front of you and accommodate what you're moving through more effectively. What you'll find is that as your mind becomes less rigid, more accommodating, you'll find that that flexibility is translated into the body. You are less reactive, you are more peaceful, more calm within your system, and this is essential for, of course, reducing the stress that is impacting upon your system, which directly correlates with how your nervous system responds, which is directing the metabolism and the way that your body regenerates cells, among other things. All right, so lastly, the fourth element, the subtle energetic element, that's something that most people can't necessarily relate to in terms of feeling, but everybody understands that when you have more energy, life's a lot easier to move through. Just imagine your attitude when you get out of bed after a nice, refreshing sleep. It's right. What needs to be done? Let's go and do it. Your motivation's right up, isn't it? Conversely, if you are very tired, you're like, oh, whatever is in front of me, it's a burden that I'd rather not deal with. I'd rather go home and watch Netflix on the couch or something, isn't it? And it's simply because of our energetic state. Now, of course, your physical, your emotional, and your mental, the elements within your system, all impact on your energy, and vice versa. Your energetic state impacts upon your mental, emotional, and physical vehicles. So it's the most subtle, it's the most challenging to manage. A lot of the times you get to a point where you're exhausted and you just don't even know why. How is it that I'm so tired? And that is because you haven't developed the skill of energy management. So that is something that we are going to be addressing in the workshop. Also, we're going to give you a technique to do that so you can begin to become more aware of your energy and what is impacting upon it, and be able to really manage that effectively so that you don't always get so drained by the environment, so that you can get to the end of the day and not be exhausted, to still be energized, to still feel great, and thereby, needless to say, you're going to get a lot more out of your life. Alright, so I hope that little overview has been helpful to you. We're looking forward to running this workshop. It's going to be a huge amount of fun, absolutely guaranteed to get a huge amount out of it. And I think, in truth, this is going to be transformational for many people that haven't learned these skills and thereafter going to have them and be able to utilize them in their life. Alright, I'll look forward to seeing you shortly in the workshop. All the best, and I'll see you then.